All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most misunderstood, but honestly, one of the most influential business empires on the entire internet. We're going to break down a surprisingly innovative model and find some powerful lessons that, believe it or not, can apply to any industry out there. Let's dive in. So, when you think about the adult entertainment industry, what's the first thing that comes to mind for its success? The content, right? The videos. Well, what if I told you that's the biggest misconception of all, that the product, it's actually not the real secret to its billion-dollar empire? This one sentence, this right here, is the key to the whole thing. It just completely reframes how you look at it. It's not about what was being sold. The real genius was in how it was being sold. Forget the product for a second and focus on the architecture behind it. So that's the big question, isn't it? If it wasn't the content driving this massive success, what was? What was the engine that powered this whole digital empire? And, in the process, kind of changed the internet forever? Well, the answer is a playbook that some of the biggest companies today, think Uber, Airbnb, Amazon, would end up making famous. Okay, it all starts right here. The real stroke of genius wasn't making another product. It was building and controlling the entire marketplace. Instead of just being one more voice in the crowd, they built the stage, the platform, where thousands of creators could connect with millions of consumers. They basically became the town square for an entire industry. And this is the core concept, platform economics. It sounds academic, but it's actually pretty simple, and it's incredibly powerful. A platform business doesn't own the stuff being sold. It owns the exchange. It's like building a bridge. You don't own the cars or where they're going. You just own the one bridge everyone has to cross, and you get to charge a toll. And they followed this three-step process perfectly. First, they took a totally fragmented market, thousands of independent creators all over the place, and brought them all together. Step two, they used that huge library of content to attract a massive global audience. And then, the brilliant part, step three, they just sat right in the middle and took a piece of every single transaction. They built the entire ecosystem, and then they figured out how to tax. But look, having a platform is one thing. The next brilliant move was changing the money game completely. They shifted from one-off single purchases to something way more stable and powerful, subscriptions. This, plus some really smart branding, is how you turn random customers into a loyal community. I mean, just look at the difference here. The old way was totally unpredictable. You never knew how much money was coming in month to month. But this new model, it created a predictable, recurring cash flow. It's the exact same move that took Netflix from a company mailing you DVDs to the streaming giant it is today. And maybe even more important, it turned an anonymous buyer into a known member of your audience. You suddenly had a real, direct relationship. So you have to ask, why would anyone subscribe? The answer is branding. That was the glue that held it all together. By building brands that people actually trusted, brands that focused on specific niches, they gave people a reason to be loyal. The brand became a promise of quality, a certain kind of experience, and that turned a generic product into something people actually wanted to pay for, month after month. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, and this is the one that almost everyone misses. This industry didn't just use technology. Its very specific, very demanding needs actually forced it to be a tech pioneer, creating solutions that the rest of the web would only adopt years later. I mean, think about this timeline. Back in the 90s, when almost no one was doing it, they had to figure out secure, high-volume online payments. In the 2000s, they were solving the problem of streaming high-quality video to millions of people at once, which pushed the limits of what was even possible. They were consistently forced to solve tomorrow's internet problems today. And this is the key point. This wasn't just tech for the sake of tech. It was born out of absolute necessity. And by solving these huge technical challenges early on, they built a massive competitive advantage that was really, really hard for anyone else to copy. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? When you strip away all the specifics, you're left with this powerful four-part playbook. And honestly, it can be applied to just about any business you can think of. So here it is, laid out plain and simple. First, don't just sell a product. Try to own the platform where your industry does business. Second, shift from one-time sales to loyal subscribers who provide recurring revenue. Third, use your brand to build a real community, a group of people that trusts you. And finally, number 4, don't just see technology as a tool. Use it as a competitive weapon. You know, at the end of the day, this whole story is a great reminder to just look for innovation everywhere. The most powerful, game-changing strategies aren't always cooked up in some Silicon Valley boardroom. Sometimes they're born on the fringes, out of pure necessity, in the places we're often told to ignore. And that really leaves us with one final thought. If this industry secretly wrote the playbook for the internet we use today, what unexpected corner of the world is writing the playbook for the internet of tomorrow? It pays to keep your eyes open.